Movie trilogies are a favourite topic for film buffs. However, truly great ones are in short supply. Popular trilogies such as The Lord of the Rings, The Matrix and the original Star Wars trilogy tend to dominate the spotlight. These may be the most well-known and have significant renown, for good reasons, however many others stand out on their own. Many trilogies get overlooked, either because they come from lesser-known IPs or were released internationally. Animated trilogies, despite being of consistent source of quality, often fly under the radar as well. Additionally, thematic trilogies, basically those connected by a theme rather than a continuous plot, offer some of the richest cinematic experiences but are overlooked. Welcome to Popcorn Programming. Here is our list of the 10 most underrated movie trilogies of all time. Pop pop! In number 10, we have the Rush Hour movies, which were a must-see for fans of buddy cop movies. The Rush Hour films were well ahead of their time, blending two influential cultures, Cantonese and African American, in a way that was explosive and hilarious. Jackie Chan brought his exceptional kung fu skills and fight choreography to all three films, performing incredible stunts despite being middle-aged at the time. Chris Tucker complimented him perfectly, delivering witty dialogue and over-the-top emotional reactions that balanced the humour and the action. While none of the Rush Hour movies are going to rank amongst anybody's greatest films of all time, they are undeniably quality popcorn entertainment. The trilogy stands out as one of the last great buddy cop franchises before the genre fell out of vogue. In number 9 we have the Austin Powers trilogy, which is dated, however does still have endless quotable lines. Utterly ridiculous movies were once central to pop culture. The Austin Powers trilogy, along with Michael Myers, have largely been forgotten, yet they remain a solid trio of comedy movies. The second installment, The Spy Who Shagged Me, suffers from being too similar to the first, The International Man of Mystery. However, it's not a terrible film in isolation, plus it introduced Mini-Me to the world, earning bonus points for that. Surprisingly, the franchise ended on a high note. Austin Powers in Goldmember featured more original jokes and was less formulaic than the second film. It also reminded everyone of Austin Powers' father's most famous disdain, people who are intolerant of other cultures and the Dutch. In number 8 we have the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy, which was built a fantastical world. One of DreamWorks' finest films, How to Train Your Dragon, transports viewers into a Nordic fantasy world where riding dragons is a way of life. The film is an incredible coming-of-age story, and the trilogy as a whole transforms Hiccup into a true master and legend by its conclusion. What makes the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy exceptional is its ability to consistently raise the stakes. Despite being family-friendly, it delivers thrilling action but showcases the scale and power of the dragons. The original film is undoubtedly the best, but even the trilogy's weakest entry surpasses most CGI animated films. We actually have a review of the whole trilogy on our channel, and I'll leave a link to that in the description you can check out once you finish this video. In number 7, we have the Home trilogy, which made Spider-Man feel like a neighbourhood superhero. Although the MCU's Spider-Man movies are financially successful and popular in their own right, they don't leave the same cultural impact as Sam Raimi's original trilogy. This is likely because superhero movies are no longer a novelty. Spider-Man isn't new to audiences anymore, and there have been 4 different Spider-Man franchises since 2002, that's not including the Venom trilogy, which is another one. The Home trilogy, however, offers solid films that capture the boyish essence of Spider-Man, which the 2 previous live-action interpretations largely overlooked. Tom Holland's Peter Parker strikes a balance between being a relatable dork and a socially functional, articulate character, unlike the overly awkward portrayal in Raimi's films. A 4th MCU Spider-Man film is on the horizon, however it is unclear if the Home theme will continue. Regardless, the 3rd film, No Way Home, serves as an unofficial conclusion to the Amazing Spider-Man duology, giving closure to the iteration of that character. In number 6 we're sticking with superheroes as we have Deadpool, that ended up being a finale for an entire universe. The Deadpool trilogy might not be the best superhero trilogy, but is undoubtedly the most comic book accurate. The first 2 Deadpool films perfectly capture the tone, humour, visuals and themes of the comics. They feature cameos from obscure characters like Domino and Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, a lore-accurate Juggernaut, and comic true dynamics such as Deadpool teaming up with Cable. The 3rd movie, though, serves as both a great Deadpool film and a farewell to Fox's superhero era. Its homages, especially involving Deadpool and Wolverine, can bring any millennial to tears, featuring appearances by stars from the 2000s. Deadpool and Wolverine solidified Deadpool's status as an A-list superhero and finally gave Wolverine his iconic yellow spandex. In number 5 we have Dark Knight Returns, which was lost in the shuffle of DC's high quality animated library. It's easy to see that The Dark Knight Returns is part of a trilogy. Most DC animated movies are Batman focused, and since The Dark Knight Returns isn't part of the DC animated movie universe, it's often assumed that The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2 form a duology. However, Batman Year 1 actually takes place in the same world and is often referred to as the Millerverse, as both are adaptations of Frank Miller's comics. Batman Year 1 stands out as one of the best Batman origin stories to date, while The Dark Knight Returns achieves what The Dark Knight Rises only attempts. Although the animated films don't fully match the quality of the graphic novels, The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 effectively condenses the slower first half of the book. One of the standout moments is Batman's fight against a mutant thug, where he uses Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to dismantle the bigger, younger foe. In number 4 we have the Evil Dead trilogy, which is ridiculously fun. Sam Raimi may be more commercially known for his Spider-Man trilogy, which had one of the weakest conclusions to a mainstream Hollywood trilogy ever. However, his original work, Evil Dead, is essentially for any fan of gore and the grotesque. The Evil Dead trilogy is a masterclass in practical effects and high-quality makeup. Raimi revels in creating demons that twist, bend, and bleed in ways that make viewers exclaim, "I can't believe they're showing this." The Evil Dead trilogy also serves as a great introduction for those who aren't fans of horror. It doesn't rely heavily on jump scares, it isn't overly frightening, its playful nature makes it highly accessible and one of the best films to watch with your buds, as its outrageous scenes are guaranteed to elicit strong reactions. In number 3 we have the Three Flavours Cornetto trilogy, which shows why British humour is so good. Named after the finest trilogy in the French cinema, Three Colours, the Three Flavours Cornetto trilogy is arguably the greatest comedic trilogy of all time. The three films are loosely connected by references to Cornetto ice cream and a common theme of maturing. The protagonists in all three struggle with moving on in life, often needing a wake-up call from their friends before realising their mistake. Sarcastic and witty humour forms the core of much of the dialogue. Like many British comedies, the Three Flavours Cornetto films are filled with absurd scenarios and awkward situations. The World's End explores darker themes such as suicide, however balances them with incredible bar brawls. It also features a major plot twist pretty early on, adding unpredictability to an already zany series that includes the Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. In number 2 we have the Internal Affairs trilogy, which is the pinnacle of Hong Kong's esteemed crime thrillers. For fans of Martin Scorsese's The Departed, you are in luck. The Departed is actually a remake of the crime thriller Internal Affairs. While both films share the same concept, The Departed emphasises character development and includes a romance subplot, whereas Internal Affairs focuses more on morality, exploring what makes someone good or honourable. What many cinema fans don't know though is that there are 2 more Internal Affairs movies. Internal Affairs 2 is quite different from the first and arguably just as good. While the original focuses on living a doable life as a mole, the second film delves deeper into the gangster life and culture in a similar way to The Godfather. And number 1 we have the Vengeance trilogy, which uses brilliant cinematography to portray violence in a way that very few films have been able to match. Park gained worldwide fame with Parasite, however he initially made his mark on the international scene with the Vengeance trilogy. Oldboy, the second film in the thematic trilogy about revenge, becomes his most popular film until Parasite. While Oldboy boasts a fantastic premise and an iconic fight scene, it's arguably not even the best film in the trilogy. Many of the best Korean films were directed by Park, making the Vengeance trilogy a great introduction to the new Korean wave. However, the films are not for the faint of heart, as they all feature brutal violence and, to be honest, quite disturbing plot twists. And there you have it, there is our list. So what do you think? What is the most underrated movie trilogy in your opinion? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you have enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe if you are new around here. That's all for now, I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Pop pop!